welcome back to another episode of All Things Honor. We're here a couple days late, but that is okay because this week's episode of Ring of Honor, Dark Order no more. Because it happened, folks. Stu Grayson stood up for himself. He went with the righteous. He went with Dutch. He went with Vincent. It was a time. But before we get there, we have a lot to get through. And the one thing I'm going to say is I was at Double or Nothing, which why there was no episode last week. But this Ring of Honor episode took place in front of the Las Vegas crowd. I know a lot of people have had a lot of words about how AEW should never run in Vegas again. The crowd was dead, all that fun stuff. And I'm here to tell you, you're probably right. I mean, I didn't think Double or Nothing was that good of a show. I've gone on record to say that I actually believe it was AEW's worst pay-per-view of all time. But I had an amazing time. I was very excited to be in Vegas. I'd like to thank AEW for allowing me to go to the event. But yeah, I really didn't like it that much. Maybe it was because the crowd was so dead. But just so you know, AEW events do better up here on the East Coast anyway. But we're not talking about AEW, we're talking about Ring of Honor. And we start off with the Infantry versus the Kingdom. My little friends at the Kingdom who are just trying to get back into their winning ways after they lost their fight without honor match. So sad. This match was fine. I mean, it was a good opener. Dean and Bravo are just I don't remember a time when they have won on this new era of Ring of Honor. But I think we're kind of leading to either the Kingdom versus the Lucha Bros at Death Before Dishonor, or we're leading to Action Andretti and Darius Martin versus the Lucha Bros. Either way, it's going to go. But obviously, both teams are looking to get momentum here. The Kingdom pick up the win in all Kingdom fashion because it is their kingdom in Ring of Honor. Thy kingdom come. Next, we had Trisha Dora and my very good friend Sky Blue. This was really good. And the one thing I really did like was how Caprice Coleman was just explaining how Trisha Dora is now going and training at the New Japan Dojo, and how training in the dojo, they strip you all the way down to like they're teaching you literally a new form of how to wrestle. So you're literally like day one training, and it's a lot different. And they did a great job explaining that. I've gone on record to say that Sky Blue right now is delivering some of her best in ring work since signing with AEW, and this match just proved it. I know that they're kind of like going all in with this Kiera Hogan feud, which I'm also okay with, but I still believe that Sky Blue will be the one to dethrone Athena at some point. Don't know when, but at some point it's going to be Sky Blue. I am confident in that. And then we had the betrayal from Stu Grayson. This was done so well. And I literally mean so well because, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, they really didn't get in the ring together. It was mostly like Grayson piling on Silver and Reynolds. And the moment that Uno and Grayson just faced off, you knew shit was about to hit the fan. Because for those of you who don't know, they've teamed on the Indies for 20 years as Super Smash Bros. And Grayson, he went with the righteous. This to me, I think it's the smart thing to do. I definitely think that the Dark Order has definitely suffered in the last couple years. I mean, Anna Jay left. They lost Angels, they lost Grayson, obviously when they didn't resign, then Grayson did resign. And I just think like this is the best thing for him. I do actually see the righteous being the ones to dethrone the embassy whenever the time comes. Obviously, the embassy is kind of hot right now, especially with there's a very good chance that Strickland will be dethroning Orange Cassidy for the international championship on Wednesday, or whatever they're now calling this new title, because again, it is not being used in the way it was explained to me, but that's a whole different rant for a whole different day. But this is really good. I mean, I think it's going to lead to Uno and Grayson taking place at Death Before Dishonor, and that match should be really, really freaking good. And hopefully, when I'm there live, like, it's going to be great. Did I mention I'm excited that Ring of Honor is coming to New Jersey? Because I screamed. I woke up everyone in my house. I was just so excited. Next, we had a Zack Sabre Jr. and Samoa Joe backstage promo. They won last week in their tag team match against Seidel and Daniels. Sabre says that they have more in common. They're both from Ireland, and they are the top television champions in wrestling. And Joe's like, well, I'm better. I'm the top television champion wrestling. They go back and forth, and Joe lays out the challenge for Zack Sabre Jr. So the interesting thing is, I could definitely see this match happening at Forbidden Door because I don't know how you're gonna stretch this out for like a month and a half. I think it's easier to happen at Forbidden Door. I mean, the storyline's right there, and it just makes so much sense because if it's not Joe, I don't know who Zack Sabre Jr. is going to wrestle because I would say it's going to be Bryan Danielson, but obviously he's now taken with Okada as Twitter went, hey shit, oh my God, I can't believe the match is finally happening this morning. Or yeah, this morning because I'm taping this at Sunday at 11 o'clock. But if it happens at Death for Dishonor, I mean, that works too. But I just think Forbidden Door makes a lot more sense. But the match would be fun either way. I mean, I think Joe's gonna be the one to like beat Saber. I don't see Saber being the one to defeat Joe unless like this collision thing, because he is being promoted as being on Collision. So is that like his step of like he's going from Ring of Honor to Collision? Is he bringing the TV title with him? Is Zack Sabre Jr. going to Ring of Honor full time? I really don't know. But these are all questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Next, we had Promise Braxton versus Diamante. And I know Diamante made a Ring of Honor debut last week, and I was so happy because she has been one of the OGs signed AEW, never used at all. So many people forget that she signed, and now she's getting used in Ring of Honor. I love it. So great. And Promise Braxton, I really don't know a lot about her. I know that she trained with Booker T, but she got a lot of offense in. I was so shocked. I was like, wow, thought this was going to be a squash, but proved me wrong. Diamante gets the win here, and I just think it's nice that Diamante and Kiera Hogan are shining in Ring of Honor. I love it. It makes my heart oh so happy for my two friends. Next was a Brian Cage and Willie Mack, and these two have had over 50 matches together. They've wrestled together in Impact, in Mexico, in Canada, everywhere. And in the beginning, I'm gonna admit the match was really slow, and I was just like, "What is happening here?" And then it really picked up, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually really good." Brian Cage continues his amazing streak in Ring of Honor, and like I've been saying, I think for the past month, I am solely believed that Brian Cage is gonna be the one to defeat Claudio Castagnoli, unless somebody I don't know what the storyline is gonna go into for Death Before Dishonor. I know that he like squashed her pentacle last week, but like can I assume it's someone from New Japan? Maybe it's someone from the Elite. Hell, maybe it's I don't think it's gonna be anyone from the Elite. I think that'd be kind of stupid. Maybe it's Takeshka. Ooh, you know what? Never mind. If it's Takeshka, okay. Oh wait, no, that really wouldn't make sense because now they're both heels. Never mind. I had a good idea, and then no. So whatever the match is, at Dashboard Sound or whoever Claudio is facing, um, he's gonna win. I would say to like a heel Takeshka's Ring of Honor champ would be really, really cool. But since we really don't know like the alignment between Takeshka and Don Callis and like the BCC, like big question mark. But again, if that does happen, that's a pretty good idea, if I do say so myself. Next, we have the New Japan Pro Wrestling TV Championship as Zack Sabre Jr. defends against Rocky Romero, and this was really good too. Zack Sabre Jr. has just been on like another tear this year. I mean, he's been everywhere. He's been defending it on the Indies. He's been in GCW. He's been here. He's been in New Japan. He's really like proving that this is the workhorse title in New Japan, guys. Romero looked really good in this match too. I like that we're featuring him a lot more, especially since he isn't signed with AEW, but he's here a lot, which is also really fun. Sabre obviously wins, and then he calls out Joe, saying that he's the greatest TV champion in all of professional wrestling right now. Again, we're building to this match. When's it happening? No. Soon. It's happening soon. If this, I will be very upset. I will be very mad if this does not happen on a paper and it just happens on a random ass episode of Ring of Honor TV. I'll be pissed off. I'll be so upset because I'll be like, why? We were building this. Just like Shibata and Lee Moriarty on Rampage on Friday. I was like, why? We were low-key building this match on Ring of Honor TV. Why? Why? Next, we had actually Andretti and Darius Martin versus the Workhorsemen. And Andrade and Martin are really good. The other thing that commentary was really hinting at was like what the dynamic's gonna be when Dante comes back. So they said that Dante is ahead of schedule, which is good for those who don't know. He severely destroyed his ankle at Supercard of Honor. But they were like, maybe there'll be a six-man team. They'll take the six-man titles off the embassy, or like, what's gonna happen between the dynamic? Is Action just gonna leave? Is Dante and Darius gonna be a tag team? Is Dante gonna go off in singles? And I thought that was really interesting because I wouldn't just bring that up for no apparent reason. So I'm not saying he's coming back like tomorrow, but I could totally see a scenario. This would be crazy. So I could see this happening, but I don't see this happening. Of like at Death Before Dishonor, like actually Andrade and Darius Martin like challenge the Lucha Bros and then they win. And then like Dante comes out and he's like, what the heck? And then like maybe that's a mini feud. I don't know. I mean, they've kind of booked Dante in singles before, so I wouldn't mind if like he went off, did his own thing, and like Darius and Action do this for a while. I think that'd be really cool. So don't like question that out. Like that'd be pretty amazing if that does happen. But actually, Andretti and Martin keep up their streak. The Workhorsemen, I know they had a six-man match with Shane Taylor and three other people on the tapings today. I heard these tapings were amazing. I'm so excited for this episode on Thursday. But the workers are good. I mean, I think they're a really fun team. They just, need to get up there. They'll get there. Next was Shogun, Bryce Saturn, and Jacob Austin Young versus Kip Sabian, the Butcher and the Blade. And this was literally a minute match. I have nothing much to say about this, but like if maybe they'll take, like I would not mind if like Saving Butcher and Blade, they're the ones to take the six-man title off the embassy. I can name a lot of people I want to take the title off the embassy, but I think like this one makes sense. I mean, they're not really using them on AEW. I think Sabian should have been the one to dethrone Orange. I'm sorry. Like it was there. The story was there. It made perfect sense. And the fact it didn't happen makes me oh so upset. So like if they're not going to be using AEW, let them go to Ring of Honor. Let them do their thing. Hell, let Butcher and Blade defeat the Lucha Bros for all I care. Use them. And let Kip Sabian throw Samoa Joe while we're at it. Let's just throw all this out into the universe. All these things are not going to happen. Next, we have Vikingo and Commander and Bandito versus Jake Cartwheel, Serpentico, and Angelico. And oh my god, this match is really fucking good. So the good thing about this match was that all six men have just like such similar styles. It was crazy. Vikingo was Vikingo, and I don't know when he's gonna go back to Mex because he's like really. I know he's booked on the Indies, especially up here in the Northeast for the summer, but like I want him to stay here. He's doing like some of his best freaking work. Obviously, the phases get the win here, and I've never seen Jack Cartwheel up until like I watched this episode today. But like I like him. I want him around more. He's fun. He's a good dude. Very good dude. Next, we had the pure title, my love for pure titles matches, Shibata versus Coughlin. And the one thing I will say is like, when Daniel Garcia defeats Shibata at Death for Dishonor, I'm gonna be oh so happy. Two, the interesting thing about this, and it's kind of like my problem with like how Ring of Honor is presented on AEW TV versus how they're presented on Honor Club, is like the pure title match Friday, they had graphics, they had the little clock, they had like how many rope breaks everybody had. Everything was all fine and dandy. Why is that not on the Ring of Honor TV programming? Why? What are we doing wrong here? I don't get it. So like that kind of made me upset. I thought Coughlin using all his rope breaks for the first 2 minutes was like absolutely insane. I was like, buddy, no bueno. But I mean, this was okay. I really don't like pure rules matches, but it told the story of the teacher versus the student. Coughlin came up very, very close multiple times. Obviously, Shibata gets the win. Obviously, if you didn't see Rampage on Friday, Daniel Garcia went to go confront Shibata. That's going to be the match Death for Dishonor. Daniel Garcia is going to get his title back. Going to be all excited. He's going to leave the JAS. He's not going to leave. I can hope and pray he leaves the JAS. And our main event. So I have a issue with this main event because they had like promoted that this was an Iron Woman match. Like if you look at any of the graphics they tweeted on Thursday, it was like Iron Woman match, Athena versus Kiera Hogan, Iron Woman match. I was like, that's great. And I was like, I feel like I would have known if it was an Iron Woman match. Like this match was taped and like people would have said first Iron Woman match in Ring of Honor history. It was not an Iron Woman match. Why they presented it this way, I have absolutely no idea. I thought that was kind of stupid all to itself, but whatever. I do love that the women are main eventing Ring of Honor a hell of a lot more. Like it just like says so much about the new era of Ring of Honor. I love it. Athena now goes to 25-0 in Ring of Honor competition, which is absolutely insane. And I think the one thing that I really didn't like is like obviously meeting what happened on the tapings, like this could be the feud going into the pay-per-view, which is fine. But Kiera Hogan got little to no offense in this match. It was like Athena dominated. Then Kiera had like this much offense and then Athena got like a cheap roll up. It's like, oh, no, 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 I'm not done. I'm not done. And they like beat each other up after the match. I was like, at least like have Kiera get like more offense in to make this make sense. Like to me, I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love that Kiera is being used on Ring of Honor. For those who don't know me outside of this podcast, like I've worked with Kiera for the majority of 2022. I'm actually inducted as the little baddie who was trying to mend the baddies together when everything was happening. So I'm excited for that. But I just felt like the story, like in the match, didn't make sense. And the other thing that pissed me off too was like Kiera had one win to get this title match. Didn't like that either. But in the end, Athena wins. This is gonna be the match in the pay-per-view. Hopefully the story gets better. Overall, I thought this episode is fine. I think the stronger episodes do like take place when they are in front of the Orlando crowd. I think like the crowd's definitely there for it. I mean, I don't know if like this was taped before Dynamite or before Rampage, but like the arena looked absolutely empty. So like I said, I don't know when this was taped, but seeing it that empty, like it kind of got me upset because like obviously it was either before Dynamite, after Dynamite, before Rampage, or after Rampage, and like Dynamite should not be that empty at all. And the other thing I don't like is this was kind of the problem everyone had last week is like there were 19 matches last week and there were 10 matches this week. That's fine, but like give everyone time. That's what this is about. You're supposed to give people time. The fact there were 19 matches last week, oh my God, that was insane. But yeah, it was okay. It wasn't the best episode, it wasn't the worst. I think, we'll get the stronger episodes in Orlando the next 2 weeks, which is really fun. And then we'll see what happens as we're heading that's for Dishonor. And that's it for me. And thank you for watching. And I hope to see you all next week on another, or later this week on another episode of All Things Honor.